I'm being joined by our reporter Wale Olowoporoku, who is going to bring us the events that unfolded during the ministerial press briefing that is ongoing. Wale, good evening to you.
Good evening, Daya.
And nice to have you here in the studio.
It's nice to be here as well.
All right, so give me updates. So far, what is happening and what ministry had the event today?
Okay, so today we had two ministries, the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budgets, and then we have the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment.
Okay.
And so this ministries, the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget was the first ministry that came to give their scorecard. Of course, this is in line with, in commemoration of the second term in office of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Yep.
And so we'll start with the first ministry that that brief to the press today. The Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, the commissioner is Okwe George, and the ministry is out to position Lagos as a resilient and inclusive economy.
Okay.
And so in the year under review, 130 billion naira was delivered to about 18.5 Lagosians in terms of social support. So they delivered about 130 billion naira through coordinated interventions like the transport subsidy that we had during the course of the year, and of course the Onje Eco food subsidy programs that Lagosians are familiar with. They also, in the year under review, the commissioner mentioned of the budget performance for the year 2024, which stood about 87%.
Okay.
And the ministry also conducted a non-expenditure framework review to enable equitable impact-driven resource distribution to ensure that Lagosians get the benefit of that budget. Also, he said there was an increase in the total revenue of the state. So it rose from 2.08 trillion naira in 2024 to 2.968 trillion naira this year, in the year 2025. So there was an increase in the total revenue, and this he said is an evidence in the infrastructural development ongoing in different parts of the state.
Okay.
Then he gave a breakdown of this year's budget, which the total revenue projection stood at 2.968 trillion naira, while the total revenue expenditure stood at 1.2995 trillion naira, and the capital expenditure is 2.071 trillion naira.
Okay.
That's the breakdown of this year's budget.
Right.
And he also mentioned that the Resilient Office, the Lagos State Resilient Office, is an office that's domiciled in that ministry. And according to the commissioner, he said the office generated about 100 direct jobs and 1,500 indirect green jobs. That is in addition to also supporting about 5,000 small and micro businesses with climate resilient business models. But let's listen to the commissioner and hear him as well.
These achievements are not just isolated wins, but they're deliberate steps for us to ensure that we make our governance approach fit for purpose and the complexities of our fast-moving, evolving economy. That would help further position Lagos as sustainable infrastructure growth and improved energy governance. Big planning department has helped to deepen policy execution, and it helps in tracking our LSDP 2052 plan. And we ensure that one of the key functions of this department is to ensure that plans are tracked and to ensure that we align all there are about 287 near-term initiatives.
Oh, okay. So that was the commissioner for the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Okwe George, and that was him giving further breakdown as to what I just
mentioned.
When I just mentioned. Now we move to the second ministry.
Before we move to the second ministry, let's emphasize the ministry that we just talked about.
Oh, that was the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budgets.
Okay.
They are the ones that are in charge of giving meaning to the state budget.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on to the second ministry.
So the second ministry is the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment. And the man in charge at the helm of affairs is Akinyemi Ajigbotafe. And he mentioned that the ministry's vision is to promote and sustain entrepreneurship and employment through the effective use of wealth creation strategies and resources, and of course, quality partnerships with both international and local academies, bodies, and associations. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned that in the year under review, about 3,006 unemployed youths were accommodated and trained by the Lagos State government through the ministry. He also mentioned that local and international bodies and academics were partnered to provide employability skill trainings to over 2,000 graduates.
Okay.
So these are graduates that left school but haven't gotten jobs yet. And they're all residents of Lagos. He also mentioned as a side note that a good number of these graduates were retained, and many of them also secured full-time jobs during their internship program under this set program. Also, as part of the social inclusion of the present administration's Team Sports agenda, an additional 5,500 residents is set to be onboarded under the NCare program to receive a stipend of 20,000 naira per month. And also in the last 1 year, the ministry disclosed that it disbursed 1.17 billion naira as loan to small scale and medium enterprises. Okay. So to ensure that those entrepreneurs can upscale their business. So they gave it as a form of soft loan. Also, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is also domiciled under the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment. Mm-hmm. And so, through this fund, the ministry was able to create 43,830 direct and indirect jobs.
All right.
It also saved about 34,542 jobs in the year under review. Mm-hmm. Also, through the ministry, 25,954 residents of Lagos were able to benefit from the federal government's renewed hope cash transferred across 20 local government areas of the state.
All right.
Let's go ahead and listen to the commissioner as well.
Regardless of age, tribe, or social status, as a ministry, we're committed to creating sustainable employment opportunities through skills acquisition for graduates and unemployed youth, as well as nurture innovation and support entrepreneurial spirit that drives our economy forward. It is noteworthy to state that the extension of the developmental pillars of Team Sports agenda of Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu's administration for gender equality, social inclusiveness, and the youth, our ministry's programs and policies align with making Lagos a 21st century economy, education, and technology to drive the vision for a greater Lagos.
Okay, so that was the voice of the Commissioner for the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment, Akinyemi Ajigbotafe. And so those were the two ministries that presented their scorecard at the ongoing ministerial press briefing. And let's not forget that this briefing started last week with a theme, A Greater Lagos Journey, Strong, Steady, and Sure. Mm-hmm. And it, of course, is presenting the scorecard of the Sanwo-Olu-led administration, second year in office.
All right, so are we expecting any other ministry tomorrow? Is briefing taking place tomorrow?
I there's going to be public holiday, so there's going to be a pause.
Oh, I forgot.
To start.
Totally.
Yes.
Right. Since we don't go on holidays, so I totally forgot about
Tomorrow's
that.
May Day.
All right. But well done to you, Wale, for giving us the report of the ministerial press briefing taking place. And we look forward to when it resumes, more reports coming from you and your team.
Thank you so much, Dara.
Well done to you at the Wale. That's at the Wale Olowoporoku, our reporter, giving us the detail of what happened at the ministerial press briefing from two ministries, the Ministry of Economic and Budget Planning and also the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment. All right, so it will be back with when that's after the May 1st break for more reports of the ministries that would be, of course, talking about what they've done over the past 2 years in office as it is. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM.